Hey, is the party over or is it just getting started? Considering the fact that 70% of our economy is based on shopping, it would probably be a good idea if we spent some time learning to identify the number one thing that influences us when we shop. It's not product quality, it's not necessity, it's not convenience, it's not price, it's packaging. If something is packaged well, we will buy it. That law of economy is as old as economies themselves. If you watch your local news programs or listen to them on the radio or read the newspaper, you will on a daily basis be told how bad things like unemployment, lack of jobs, opportunity for jobs, I should say, loss of benefits, and all things related to that are bad things for us and our economy. Now, if you consider the fact that news is, among other things, a product, you have to acknowledge that it has to be packaged in a way that makes us want it. In other words, the news as it's portrayed has to attract us as opposed to repel us. So I would say that the packaging of news as bad news probably attracts a larger audience than the packaging of news as good news. And I think the result is in the presentation of any news program you should happen to choose. Now, to illustrate how packaging can influence how we perceive a situation for good or bad, we need not look any further than our local large chain grocery store. I'm sure within the sound of this voice, you have at your access a large nationwide grocery store chain. In that store, you will have the opportunity, when you are done shopping, to either A, go through a traditional checkout line with a person wearing a name tag and another person wearing a name tag the two of them together will both tally up your purchases, collect your money, bag your groceries, and send you on your way. And all of us would probably agree that that's a sign of a healthy economy, that there are people holding these positions and we can purchase and they can serve us. A few aisles over in the very same store, you'll see a self-checkout lane, sometimes called a U-scan. Now, these have been in existence for several years now in all of your major grocery store chains. They have no checkout person wearing a name tag. They have no person with a name tag helping you to bag your groceries. You pick the groceries off the shelf, deliver them to the self-checkout aisle, scan them yourself, insert your money into the machine, collect your change, and bag your groceries and move on through life, knowing that what in news circles, something that would be considered an elimination of a job or two, in this environment is packaged in a way to be a good thing and a sign of our society moving into the future. You need not rely on another person to complete your grocery purchases. You can do it all yourself. Now, when these self-checkout lanes are packaged as bright, shiny little portholes that let us escape quickly from the confines of the grocery store to the freedom of our automobiles, We find things like a little robotic female voice that tells us to collect our change and take our receipt, grab our bags, and get the heck out of here so the next person can use the checkout, self checkout. And in that atmosphere, there is no consideration of job loss, no consideration of benefits loss, no consideration of a downside to the economy. Why, we are led to believe that this is in fact an upside to the economy. And if you're old enough to remember the old show The Jetsons, it's living physical proof that we may be entering that euphoric era of the future when machines do all the work and we have all the fun. So, the packaging of the same situation directly affects how we perceive that situation. Hear about unemployment on the news and it's a bad thing. Experience unemployment in the self-checkout aisle of your favorite national grocery chain, and by golly, we done moved into the future and we are Jetsons having a good time. So, how much of what we shop for, which would be 70% of every dime that goes through our country's coffers, is packaged in a way that influences us to purchase what it is that is being sold? Because after all, if we ain't buying, the economy is crying and is trying to get us to buy a sly or a wise thing to do. And that is today's new thought on an old idea.